Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Russ and I drive my 2024 Subaru Forester Sport. I daily this car for 2 years now, and in this video I'm going to share with you what this car is like as a family car. So no, this video is not going to be about how great this car is in the snow, even though it is, but it's going to be about the family duties and how it performed over the last 2 years. Basically, it's me and my wife and my daughter. Daughter is 3.5, so got this car when my daughter was a year and a half, and obviously since then she's taken hundreds of trips of us. And over that time, I have plenty of stories to share. So let's begin. I'm gonna tell you all the good and bad about this car as a family car. So let's begin with the good first, and it has to do with space. This car is so spacious on the inside. You have to sit inside a Super Forester to believe it. It feels like a school bus, honestly. Basically, headroom, crazy amount of headroom, a leg room, shoulder room. It feels really roomy, and yeah, you don't think about a Subaru Forester being this big on the inside till you get inside one. It's crazy. So basically, all of that obviously plays a huge role when it comes to being a comfortable family experience. And yeah, I'm super comfortable being a tall driver here. I'm 6'4". My wife is usually sitting next to me, and luckily she's not 6'4", but when we switch and she's driving and I'm next to her, it's amazing that I could stretch out my legs all the way and move the seat so far back that it's just like feels like illegal almost, you know? It's crazy how far the seats go back on the Subaru Forester. Yeah, I tried to do the same thing inside the other models and I could never quite stretch out my legs fully, but on the Subaru Forester it is possible. So yeah, if you're tall, doesn't matter if you're driver or you're sitting right next to the driver, you're still gonna be super comfortable. So we talked about the front passenger legroom and headroom, no questions there. Now let's talk about the back passengers. Basically, the whole back bench is pretty comfortable as it is, and the back seats do recline about 3 inches, so that makes like long rides even more comfortable. All that is great. But also, one thing to add here, if you are planning to move two adults with the car seat installed, not the most comfortable experience in the world. So it's me, my wife, my daughter in the car seat behind me, and my two parents. When we try to take rides like that, whoever is sitting in the middle of the back seats, they are not comfortable, obviously. It's just not enough shoulder room, and it's doable but not the best experience. But at the same time, they do have plenty of legroom, and um, right behind me, I'm 6'4", like I said, there's a car seat, and my daughter doesn't, like, hit her knees on on the back of my seats or anything like that. So all of that is great when it comes to space, and the back passengers certainly have a really good ride inside a Super Forester. My car is a sport trim, so it does not come with the heated back seats, but I think if you are having people in the back of your Super Forester a lot and you live in a colder climate, it does make sense to bump it up to like a touring or limited, and get heated rear seats, because then I think it would just make a whole world of difference for those passengers, because the front seats of the Subaru Forester that are heated here on my sport trim, they work great. I heard some complaints about the brand new 6th generation Subaru Forester that the seats are kind of lukewarm. I'm not sure if it's just isolated incidents or that's by design. I'm not sure, but I can tell you and report that the Subaru Forester heated seats work great. So if you are having passengers in the back often and you're living in a colder climate, basically maybe it makes sense to get those rear heated seats for them as well. Also, one nice little touch, when you are a passenger in the back of the Subaru Forester, you have these door pockets basically where you could put, like, I don't know, map or newspaper, whatever. You could put stuff there, and I always find it so annoying when certain car manufacturers would only give you those pockets from one side to save money. But on Subaru Forester, you have them symmetrically basically from both sides, where you could basically put stuff in there if you desire to do so. I'm pretty sure I just said door pockets there. Of course, I'm talking about the seat pockets. Anyways, when it comes to visibility, that's actually another great feature that makes your passengers really happy and that makes this car really shine as a family car. You could see a lot of stuff here, and not only is it good for safety, but it's also great for people who are inside your car. Obviously, my daughter loves it because she could see like playgrounds for miles. Actually, amazing what Subaru does here, because they give you panoramic moonroof on every trim, all the way since premium and up. And yeah, when I was choosing this car, I was between a Subaru Forester Sport and Toyota RAV4 XLE. And over there, you had to pay extra to get a moonroof, not a panoramic moonroof, but just a regular moonroof, and you have to pay extra for that. So, great job, Subaru, for basically including this great panoramic moonroof, which I open a lot, and my daughter certainly loves it and brings so much light into the cabin of the car. So yeah, this car and its visibility is just second to none. You could see a lot of stuff. And recently I was at the car show where I would sit in so many cars, and almost all of them, the first thing that would hit me right away was just like, wow, why are the windows so small? I can barely see stuff from here. And it's just because I've been spoiled after driving this car for 2 years. I've been simply spoiled by the amount of stuff I could see out of these huge windows. And yeah, it's amazing. And you can certainly feel the difference when you jump into more regular cars. Another thing that I want to mention is the fact that rear doors on the Subaru Forester open almost 90 degrees, which is crucial for loading and unloading the baby in the back of a car. So yeah, now my daughter can climb into the car seat by herself. But at the beginning, of course, it's a whole like delicate procedure of putting the baby in the car seat. And yeah, the last thing you want is the doors that don't open 90 degrees and that stand in the way. Uh, Hello, Toyota RAV4, that's you. Basically, when I was in Toyota dealership, the funny thing is when I opened the back door, I'm just like, hold on, let me push a little more. It didn't open all the way, but no, it did. But no, Toyota RAV4 did not give you that 90-degree opening. I'm not sure how it is in the new updated RAV4, but the 2024 model I was testing, I was shocked that the door doesn't open up 90 degrees, and it almost opens up like the entire 90 degrees on the Subaru Forester, which is great. And that's what every family car should have. Doors that open 90 degrees. It just makes a whole world of difference. If you gotten this far into the video, you heard me say that this car is super spacious, like about 30 times now. But the most important thing to remember here is the whole philosophy that the Subaru Forester has is it seems like it's prioritizing the space for the passengers, and it gives you in return slightly less cargo space behind the rear passenger seats. So that's a huge difference between this and RAV4, for example, where in the RAV4 you get slightly less in terms of the space for the rear passengers, for example, but then you get rewarded with more space for the cargo. So that's going to be something that you have to answer for yourself. How important is cargo space versus passenger space? For me, it's a perfect mix, and I love the fact that I get more space for the passengers. The comfort of my passengers is way more important to me than how many suitcases fit inside the cargo area of a Subaru Forester, basically. And even so, I drive people to the airport quite often. So, yeah, 2 3 suitcases, a stroller fit just fine inside the back of the Subaru Forester. So it's not like the cargo area is super small, but yeah, it's definitely smaller when you comparing it to the best-selling SUV like a RAV4, for example. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Like I said in the beginning, I'm going to tell you all the good and bad about this car. So as a family car, yes, this car is super warm, um, but it's also not warm enough when it comes to basically the footwell section for the passengers. So I complain about this a lot. My wife complains about this a lot. We just had winter behind us, luckily. And yeah, we were freezing quite often. Our feet were freezing quite often because no matter how you spin those dials, basically, and you're sending a lot of hot air into the footwell section of the vehicle, it just seems like not enough of the hot air is actually blowing on your feet. So that's a bit of an issue. But other than that, the car gets warm pretty quickly. As a whole, it gets cold pretty quickly. AC works great here. And like I mentioned, the heated car seats work really great as well. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the safety, and basically, family car needs to be safe, obviously, and Subaru Forester has great safety ratings for years and years now. And one thing that kind of like speaks to that is the fact that this car, my 2024 Subaru Forester Sport, cost me $150 less to insure per month than the compatible Toyota RAV4 or Nissan Rogue or Mazda CX-5. And is it because Subaru Foresters don't get stolen as often? Could be. Is it because Subaru Forester drivers are better and make less claims? Also could be the case. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, I strongly believe that all the safety features that are part of this car, the whole eyesight system, and all of its safety features, plus the whole crash safety ratings, All of that plays a role into realistically me paying $150 less per month to insure this car than I would have paid if I chose a quite similarly priced competition like RAV4, Nissan Rogue, or Mazda CX-5. So all in all, Subaru Forester as a family car, amazing. Yes, few complaints here and there, but as a whole, I think this car is going to be perfect for families. And I wish I could tell you how this car is when it comes to having two car seats in the back, but I only have one. But yeah, great car all around. I'm very happy, and I never had regrets about getting a Forester. The only regret that I ever had about getting a Forester was the fact that I did not opt in for a more expensive trim or did not opt in for an optional package 24, which would have given my sport trim power lift gate, better music, and upgraded infotainment system with a bigger screen. So yeah, all in all, Subaru Forester as a family car can't go wrong. But of course, do your own research, try it out, and see which car works best for you. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.